All right, let's dive into the real nerve center of professional AV. We're talking about those big, complex setups. You know the nightmare, displays hundreds of feet apart, that awful lip sync delay, and downtime that just costs a fortune. So today we're looking at a solution, specifically the WolfPack 1080p HDBaseT output card. Our sources are the product specs, and our goal is to really break down what makes this little card solve those huge distribution problems.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that looks simple, right? It's a one-port slide-in card,
Yeah.
but it's the heart of these huge WolfPack matrix switchers, the ones that go all the way up to 36 by 36. And, what's interesting right off the bat is that it's TAA compliant. For anyone in government or military procurement, that's a huge deal. It just sails through a lot of red tape.
Okay, so let's get into that core function. We know it does 1080p, which is, the standard, and it supports video walls, but the real challenge is always holding that signal quality over long distances.
And that's where these specs really matter. You're getting that full 1080p signal reliably up to 220 feet, and it does it over just standard KT6 or KT7 cable, which is great.
Yay.
But the bigger story, I think, is the modular design. Think about it. If you get a signal loss, maybe from a power surge on one line, you don't have to unplug and ship back this entire multi-thousand-dollar chassis.
Right. So what's the fix then? Is it complicated?
Not at all. You literally just slide out the one faulty card and slide in a new one. The whole fix is replacing a $250 card. That basically eliminates serious downtime. It makes the whole system so much more robust.
This is where I think it gets really interesting with the HDBaseT technology itself. For anyone who hasn't worked with it recently, what makes it so good for these long runs? And what about latency? That's the real enemy of synchronization.
Well, HDBaseT is the core magic here.
Right.
It lets you send everything, video, audio control, even power over one single cable. And we talk about latency. I mean, the difference is just staggering. The spec sheet says virtually zero latency, and honestly, the numbers back it up.
Instantaneous is a very strong claim. What are we actually looking at in numbers?
So get this. Over a 330-foot cable, the delay is less than 7 microseconds. That's 7 millionths of a second. At 100 feet, it drops to 3 microseconds.
Wow. And just to put that in perspective, what can a human actually perceive?
Well, the general threshold for noticing any audio-video delay, the lip sync issue, is around 10 milliseconds. That's 10,000 microseconds. So this is, it's completely, utterly imperceptible.
So for you, the person standing in that giant factory or auditorium, what does this actually mean?
It means perfect lip sync every time, on every screen. Whether it's a huge church with overflow rooms or a corporate campus with displays all over, that headache of staggered video is just gone.
Okay, so the signal path is rock solid. Let's talk about actually controlling this beast. A perfect signal is useless if it's a pain to switch. And it seems like the WolfPack family offers a ton of options.
Oh, they cover every possible base. You can kind of break it down into 3 tiers. First, you have your onboard controls, buttons on the front, a free web GUI you can access from a browser, simple stuff. Then there's network access. You get your standard RS-232 and TCP/IP ports, plus free apps for your iPhone or Android. You can switch inputs from a tablet.
And what about the pro-level stuff, the big automation systems our integrators are using?
That's the 3rd tier. They've got drivers for pretty much everything. Control 4, URC, Elon, RTI. And there are paid modules for the really high-end systems like Crestron. It's a very complete package.
Before we move on from control, I saw a note about the RS-232 ports that system designers really need to know about. There's a bit of a quirk, isn't there?
Yes, and this is a key detail. The main RS-232 port on the Matrix chassis, it does not talk to the RS-232 ports on these individual output cards. The port on the card is just an extension, a pass-through.
So you need another cable.
You do. If you want to send control signals to your display at the far end, you need a separate cable from the card's port to the receiver's port. It's a design choice, really. It keeps the control path for extension totally isolated and reliable, instead of trying to merge it all on one bus.
Okay, that makes sense.
So to boil it all down for you, what you need to take away from this is 1, you get that modular reliability for quick fixes. 2, you have a solid 220-foot range for your 1080p video. And 3, you get that incredible microsecond latency, which means perfect sync no matter how big your venue is.
So here's the final thought. This system gives you something like 24 different ways to control your switching, from a simple button to a fully automated Crestron system. Knowing that the video and audio distribution itself is guaranteed to be absolutely instant and perfectly synchronized, what new complex environment could you design now that you couldn't before? That's the real power this kind of technology unlocks. Thanks for diving in with us.